Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
A gas station in Allen Park becomes the scene of a standoff between police and a man with a knife. After several hours, he's finally out, but it ended with a bang. Listen.
There, the SWAT team is extricated him from the store. And that was a flashbang that you just heard go off there.
The voice of our J. Scott Smith on the scene just a short time ago. Thank you so much for being with us for the news at 11. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez in for Ty Steele. You know, there's a lot to unpack surrounding that tense situation at the corner of Allen Road and Southfield Road. J. Scott Smith has been watching that marathon station closely since his live report in our 6 o'clock newscast.
And Jay joins us live now. Jay, it seems clear the man with a knife was in distress. Thankfully, this all ended in the best way.
Yes, Kimberly and Damon, it thankfully did end. Good evening, everybody. And this standoff capped off a very tense night here in Allen Park. That standoff lasted 5 hours, but there are some questions that still remain.
The ordeal began just after 4:30 p.m. when the man suddenly ran into the marathon station holding a knife and in apparent distress.
And ran in the station, say close the door, and then the workers ran out, opened the door, and he went all the way in the back.
After attempting to calm him down for about 15 minutes, the police from Allen Park, Lincoln Park, and Southgate, along with Michigan State Police, poured into the gas station parking lot and closed off Southfield Road between Allen and Fox.
He had locked the doors. At that time, there was 2 customers present as well as a clerk. They were both able to exit the building. They were not threatened. They were not harmed at all.
From that point, the waiting game began as a SWAT unit stood guard outside and negotiators implored the man to come out of the store with the knife, repeatedly invoking the man's family. And just after 8 p.m., a minivan pulls up with one of the man's friends attempting to talk him out. But by 9:20, the negotiators' patience began to run out. First, they smashed the glass door to the gas station. Then 10 minutes later, they ripped the door from its hinges and set off a flashbang grenade. By 9:35, the SWAT team stormed the gas station, pulled the man out alive and seemingly unharmed.
This is the best case for a situation like this. He wasn't injured, nobody was hurt, and hopefully he's going to get the help that he needs.
And here you see right now the repairs are being made on that door that was torn off of its hinges just a little under 2 hours ago. The cleanup crews were already in business maybe about an hour after this whole thing went down, and there's still no word on whether he'll be facing any charges of what led the man to run into the gas station. Now, he was taken to a hospital for evaluation, and if you're going through a difficult time right now and you fear that you may harm yourself, help is out there. You can simply dial the number 988. Live in Allen Park, I'm J. Scott Smith for Local 4.
Thankfully, this wasn't worse than what it was. Jay, we appreciate your reporting tonight.
New at 11, a 9-year-old boy is in critical condition after what police are calling an accidental shooting. It happened in Troy. Now, this happened around 4 o'clock this afternoon at a home near Crooks and Muir. First responders arrived to find the child bleeding from the head. They rushed him to a hospital where doctors performed emergency surgery. Investigators did recover a gun from inside the house. We're told the child had gained access to the gun and his mother was there when it went off, but the exact circumstances aren't yet known.
Misidentified. A man in upstate New York was told by the medical examiner's office his missing daughter was dead. But months later, he learns that's not true. She's alive here in Detroit. And now, as the family tries to make sense of the news and reconnect with that woman, many are asking how this could even happen.
In 2021, Shanice Cruz dropped her 2 children off with family members and disappeared.
I looked for her for 3 years, hard. I never gave up.
Her father, Mark, even hired a private investigator who tracked Shanice to Detroit and believed she became involved in a religious cult.
So we just went on with our life, just raising the kids, because she was 28 years old when she left us. So, she's a grown woman.
But in April of last year, a Rochester, New York police officer showed up at the door.
We had to inform you that your daughter, Shanice Cruz, has passed away. If you need to know anything else, go to the medical examiners.
So the family rushed to the medical examiner's office.
So when I went to go try to identify the body, they was like, your daughter been in here since February, and it was April then. And the state of her body in, you can't come in and see her.
The body found in a wooded area had to be identified using dental records. Mark had the body cremated and held a memorial service for his daughter. Months of grieving went by until one day he got this picture from a stranger on Facebook. It's Shanice in Detroit holding up a certificate dated November 2024. The family raced back to the medical examiner's office. They were asked if one of Shanice's children would provide comparable DNA.
They took the DNA test, submitted it, and it's not a match.
Shanice is not dead. Those remains are not hers.
Who is this female that we have in the urn?
The medical examiner's office asked for the ashes back, and here's when a bad situation gets even worse. The family mixed the remains with Shanice's mother's and put them in jewelry, which they all wear.
Now we don't know who acid that we mixed with her deceased mom.
The medical examiner wouldn't speak about it, but the county executive did.
How on earth did something like this happen?
Obviously, no family should ever have to go through what this family is going through right now. And my understanding of it was they did have the remains of someone that had a dental record that could be matched. And so they go through the process they go through, and they found what they thought was a match. Frankly, it was actually looked at now by two other professionals who looked at it and said it is a probable match. And there are also other things that could take place and other factors there. So that's what's being investigated now.
They're looking into the possibility that someone used Shanice's identity and insurance information to get dental work done, which generated the dental record they used to ID the body.
This is turning into a very unusual case for every professional we've talked to who's looked at this.
What changes have you asked for to try and ensure that this doesn't happen again?
So I've set a number of policies in place. Number one is that we do have a new contractor that's working on it. We've asked for a second opinion, particularly on this case, to get to the bottom of it. We decided to change the policy so that when a match is made between an individual and a dental record, we're also going to engage in DNA testing with family members to back up the work that was done with the dental.
Is it more expensive to do the DNA in addition to the dental records, or why hasn't that been the policy?
These are decisions that are determined by the medical examiner, and it's based on what they have in front of them.
That's of little comfort to the Cruz family.
I think they rushed to close a missing person case. I truly believe that. Not never thinking that this would happen, because if this would have never happened, I was going to just learn how to live without my daughter, thinking she's deceased. It's just devastating, man. I won't wish this on nobody.
But he's holding out hope that this at least gives them one more chance to reach his daughter.
I just want to know I love her and she can come home anytime. We miss her. I got to find my daughter. Too many sleepless nights,
What a story. And Mark is hoping Shanice might see this interview and come home if she can. Experts say it's not uncommon for people living on the streets or those who've been trafficked to share insurance information to get medical care that they might need.
Tonight, a 19-year-old Lansing woman is in police custody following a shooting outside Meridian Mall in Okemos. All right, so that shooting happened around 1:25 this afternoon outside Dick's Sporting Goods. Multiple shots were fired there, and 2 people were injured. Police secured the scene at the mall and notified the public there was no ongoing threat. It's unclear right now what charges the woman in custody may be facing. Investigators are still trying to find 2 vehicles they believe were involved.
The trial in the murder of Dee Warner will stay in Lenawee County, despite arguments today that potential jurors there are already too biased against the defendant. Dee Warner went missing in April of 2021. Her husband, Dale, is accused of killing her and stuffing her body inside a chemical storage tank. The argument from Dale Warner's defense team today was that social media is full of evidence that people have already decided Dale is guilty, and some of them are trying to get on the jury.
There is an individual in Lenawee County who posted on the Justice for Dee page about how to essentially be a stealth juror, how to make sure that you scrub your social media so that if you get called for jury duty, no one will ever know that you were on the Justice for Dee page.
So this motion kind of puts the cart before the horse and assumes, based on a few anecdotes, is that out of the tens of thousands of potential Lenawee County jurors, that 12 fair and impartial jurors cannot be found. And that's just a leap too far.
The judge expressed his concerns about what's been posted on social media, but decided to keep the trial in Lenawee County. It's scheduled to begin in January.
Right now, President Trump says he's doubling down on steel tariffs. Speaking today at a plant near Pittsburgh, the president announced plans to raise the tariff from 25 to 50% on imported steel. He said industry leaders pushed for the increase, claiming it would better protect American steel jobs. Mr. Trump also highlighted a new deal between U.S. Steel and Japan's Nippon Steel as part of his push to boost the industry. Right now, to our north, firefighters are battling some massive, out-of-control wildfires in western and central Canada. Thousands of people are under evacuation orders right now as the country's fire season kicks into high gear. Though the flames are burning over 1,000 miles away, we're feeling the effects right here in Metro Detroit.
We are. So take a look at this. Much of southeast Michigan is under an air quality advisory tonight as smoke from those fires makes its way across the U.S. Those areas shaded in gray right there are on alert until early Saturday morning. Ron Hilliard is in tonight tracking those air quality issues along with a little bit of rain, too. Hi, Ron.
Hello to you, Kimberly and Damon. Yes, we have those rain showers that have been impacting southeast Michigan this evening. They're moving out, but those smoke and the wildfire residue, that is all still moving in our direction, and it will do so until the morning hour. So we will have the potential for smoke that is thick enough to cause issues as late as 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And this covers all of southeast Michigan. You see the gray covering all of us here for that air quality advisory. So here's what we are going to be seeing. That smoke is continuing to flow through Metro Detroit. Those yellow colors and the orange colors, that's where that smoke is more dense. Well, eventually, as we get into the overnight hours and into tomorrow, we will see that passing to our south into Ohio, and then things clear on out as we get into the afternoon hours. But in the meantime, we are going to be concerned about the potential of this wildfire smoke impacting our health. This is especially the case for people who are particularly sensitive, those that might have asthma or other respiratory conditions. You might want to close those windows tonight instead of letting that air come in. Now, we do have some of that lingering into tomorrow morning, that smoke. We go into our Sunday and Monday and things are looking a lot better. But when do we see our next chance of rain showers, and what do the temps look like in our forecast? That is coming up in a few minutes.